Imagine you could travel through time and change one moment in the past. You step into a machine built centuries from now, and suddenly, the world around you begins moving backward. In an instant, you're decades in the past. Then you realize something terrifying. One decision could change everything. Suppose you find your grandfather before he met your grandmother. You stop their meeting. Your parent is never born. And if your parent was never born, neither were you. But here's where the logic breaks. If you were never born, you could never have traveled back. But if you never traveled back, who stopped your grandfather? The traveler must exist to change the past. But the changed past says the traveler never existed. It's a loop with no starting point. This is the grandfather paradox. But what if the universe refuses to allow the contradiction? Every time Atlas tries to create an impossible change, reality bends around it. Maybe certain events are locked into time. Then comes an even stranger question. What if something brought back from the future had no inventor? Imagine a scientist receives a revolutionary machine's designed from a mysterious visitor. He studies it for years, finally builds it, and discovers the machine actually works. Years later, that same scientist becomes the mysterious visitor. He travels back and gives his younger self the exact design he once received. But who invented the machine? The design was never created. It simply existed inside the loop. The cause became the effect, and the effect became the cause. Now imagine the object is a book. A writer in the future gives it to someone in the past. That person publishes it, and centuries later, the writer finds the same book. He sends it back through time. So who wrote it? There is no first copy, no original author, no moment when the idea was created. The information simply travels in a circle, forever passing between past and future. But there's another possibility, even more unsettling. Imagine traveling back to stop a disaster. You warn everyone and convince them to evacuate. But because of your warning, something goes wrong. Your attempt to prevent the disaster creates the conditions for it. Every choice you make seems to push history toward the exact future you wanted to avoid. The future you were trying to change was already part of your past. You didn't change history. You were the reason it happened. And that's when time itself stops looking like a road and starts looking like a trap. This is the predestination paradox. The attempt to escape the future becomes the thing that creates it. You run backward through time, but every path leads to the same moment. You try again. You make a different decision. For a moment, history seems to change. But then, the same event appears from another direction. No matter what you do, the timeline keeps correcting itself. Every road through time eventually leads back to the same reality. But what if the universe has another way out? To explore that possibility, we enter the strange world of quantum physics. At the smallest scales, reality doesn't always behave like our everyday world. A quantum system can contain multiple possible outcomes until an interaction determines what we observe. So perhaps changing the past doesn't rewrite your universe. Perhaps it creates another one. In one reality, your grandfather lives his original life. In another, your actions changed everything. Both realities exist, but they no longer contradict each other. But there's a catch. If every possible outcome creates another reality, which one is real? And if there are countless branches, there could be countless versions of you. One became a scientist. Another became an explorer. Another was born into a world where humanity never existed. Suddenly, the paradox seems to disappear. But is that really a solution? Or just another possibility? Because quantum physics gives us possibilities, not a time machine. There's another idea physicists have considered. Maybe the laws of physics prevent impossible timelines from forming. Imagine time as a flexible fabric. You try to bend it too far, and reality pushes back. Some equations in general relativity allow paths that curve back through time. A path that could theoretically bring you to an earlier point in your timeline. But if that path exists, could you use it to change the past? Perhaps the answer is hidden in physics itself, a barrier we haven't yet discovered. And yet, none of these ideas completely solves the mystery. We return to the same four possibilities. Maybe the past can be changed. Maybe changing it creates a new universe. Maybe the universe prevents contradictions. Or maybe time naturally forms loops we don't yet understand. The truth is, we don't know. We have never built a machine that sends a human into the past. But the mathematics leaves the door open to possibilities that sound almost impossible. And that's what makes time travel so fascinating. Before we ask whether we can travel through time, we have to ask what time actually is. We experience it like a river flowing from past to future. But physics gives us a stranger picture. In relativity, past, present, and future can be viewed as parts of one larger structure, a block universe. If all moments already exist, what does that mean for free will? Maybe you're moving through time, or maybe time is moving through you. But what if the traveler isn't changing history at all? What if he was always part of the history he thought he was changing? His first journey into the past may have already been part of the past. Cause and effect stop behaving like a straight line. The beginning becomes the ending, and the ending becomes the beginning. The same information keeps returning to its own beginning. There is no first cause. Our brains expect every story to have a beginning and an end. But the universe may not care about either. So maybe the question isn't whether time travel is possible. It's what would happen if it were. Could you change your own history? Could you meet another version of yourself? And if you did, would you know which life was yours? Every answer creates another question. Eventually, even our best physics reaches a boundary. Beyond it could be a deeper theory of reality we haven't discovered. For now, time travel remains possible in theory, but completely unproven in reality. There's a massive difference between something that works on paper and something we can build. We don't have the technology to send humans into the past. Wormholes may connect distant points through space-time in theory, but keeping one stable could be an entirely different problem. Quantum physics doesn't magically solve it. It gives us possibilities, not a working time machine. So the paradoxes remain. Maybe the past can change. Maybe it creates another reality. Maybe physics prevents contradictions. Or maybe time naturally forms loops. We simply don't know. But perhaps that uncertainty is what makes the mystery so powerful. Because somewhere between physics and philosophy lies a question we still can't answer. If time can be traveled through, what does that tell us about reality itself? Maybe the strangest part of time travel isn't traveling through time. It's understanding what time actually means. And if someone finally steps through that doorway, they may discover that the greatest mystery was never how to travel through time, but why time exists at all.